guys, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here. I pressed the button. I pressed it. It didn't work, is the problem. Um, we're here. We are back for the episode of our Patreon one-shots, and we are back to Glenbrook. And if you saw last episode, I'm sorry. Sorry for mentally scarring you. It was your own fault. Blame Chris. That's all I have to say. Usually it's blame G, but this time. That being said, let me adjust this so you guys can actually see rolls. Okay, we're good. Yeah, we're back. We're back from more Glenbrook. It's still the same day. It's still November 2nd, 1985. Here in Glenbrook. But that being said, if you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel like these fine folks, the best way to do it is over on our Patreon. Link for that down below. While you're down there, clicking on that and joining us at the $5 tier, click on that Discord link and join us in the Discord. Be a part of the community. Be a part of the conversation. You can tell me how much of a terrible GM I am for what I did list these people last episode. But, you know, we'll see.
To these people, we weren't here.
Well, you watched it and you witnessed the nonsense. So, and as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills. I do terrible things to these players. Although, again, last episode, I didn't do that. I wasn't even a corruption bar. That wasn't me. I had no part to play in that. And two, every single dollar that goes into that goes back to this channel so I can hire a better GM who doesn't kill people. And that's it. That's all I got. That's the whole spiel. Let's jump in to some Glenbrook. Because the year is 1985. The place, New England, more specifically, Rhode Island. The home of Mercy Brown, America's first vampire. The site of many dark and lurid tales from the mind of HP Lovecraft. And the home of the infamously haunted Perron family, and now the site of one of the largest government research facilities in the world, the Loop. It is Saturday, 2nd of November, 1985. The outside is still slick with rain from a previous night. Wet leaves stick to everything around. There are still Halloween decorations out on front lawns, front stoops, porches, etc., and our camera flies down Main Street. Takes a left down to a rural set of side roads and into the Black Plain Public Library, which doubles as a community center and senior center, where we find Blake, Elliot, Rossy, and for some reason Fish, all in a library together. You guys sit in the stacks of the library shelves. A single desk at the front with a brand new donated on behalf of the Loop. Commodore 64 is plugged into something that sort of begins to catalog the books here in a way that the librarian can at least look things up. You see to her left and to her right are duplicate cases of the Dewey Decimal System for which you can peruse at your own leisure. But we see you in a glass wall, several stacks of books behind you, or several rows of books behind you, and a large table in the center where the four of you are gathered around said table. What are you all doing as you just sort of linger in between the books?
Well, Fish has a bunch of stuff in front of her. She has some composite notebooks that are filled with strange writing. She's got a notebook. Her mom's journal is out, and she's got her own notebook that she has notes on, and there's lots of like scribbled notes and arrows, and I'm going to say she's taking up about more than half the desk with everything spread out. And she even has a couple science books. I don't know what G doesn't really know what type of science books, she would have, but she is researching what tessellation is, or trying to find stuff on tessellation. And yeah, and a
Okay.
couple of things. Yeah.
Roll me an investigate.
Investigate. One success.
One success. Okay, so we'll start with Fish for now. You have several of these science books open. You have your notebooks, etc., scattered around the table here. You were unable to find any science books on tessellation through the use of the librarian, the Dewey Decimal System, her new computer, and pure luck. You found an art book. That's the only thing in the library that depicts tessellation.
Okay.
It is. It is.
What about teleportation?
Yeah, sure. You could find a science book on that. It'd be in the science fiction section. But tessellation, the only thing you can find is essentially mosaics. Um, they are. They are. It's like tiling, right? It's repeated patterns over and over again. Either polygons or similar shapes or like interweaving connections. Kind of like if a puzzle were made out of the same two puzzle blocks over and over again. But that's the only thing you're able to find is an art book full of patterns, essentially. So while Fish is spread out across most of the table, what are the rest of you doing?
Blake has the journal, the journal from the Double Dog Dare House,
Mm-hmm.
and he has had time to go through the archives and get newspaper clippings of both the obituary and like the front page covers of around that time the journal says it takes place.
Okay.
And if you want me to roll for it, see if I could find who technically owns the house, because it should be somewhere in the archives of whose hands it passed on to.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah, roll me an investigation.
did I freeze?
No, you're good. You're good. You're back. Roll me investigation. Oh, now he's frozen. Well, eventually, roll me investigation. Meanwhile, what are Elliot and Rossy doing?
Elliot's researching computer code and passive aggressively complaining about how bad the library is with books on computer code, and completely unaware of the irony of going to a library to look for computer coding books.
Just passes him right over. Yeah, I mean, it's fairly easy to find a book on computer code. There's probably only one in here, and it's like a what is it, Pascal, probably something like that, or like Cobalt. So it's something very old, and well, old for us now. But Pascal, Cobalt, or maybe Unix, is what it is. And there's one book, just the singular book on that. Are you looking for anything particular when it comes to computer coding?
Not really. He's just been thinking back to the time that they encountered the where they were invisible and they went into the strange woman's house, trying to see if anything sparks a memory on some of the code he saw that was running through the 3 machines downstairs.
Okay, okay. Interesting. Roll me comprehend. Meanwhile, over to Blake. Yes, you are able to pull like old news articles. Not quite. You're not at City Hall, right? So you're not gonna be able to like pull up the city archives. But you are able to pull up like news clippings. You have like there's in the section of the library that you're in, there's a microfiche, so you can kind of like clip through old news articles. What you find is that the home was purchased by a private company. And the only mention you can find of that private company is that it is a third party company. It doesn't say who owns the third party company, what they are a third party to. It is just a small LLC that purchases houses. There's no details for who works there, if anyone at all. And the LLC is called Over Again LLC. Elliot, yes, you are going through books on computer code. Unfortunately, fortunately, you recognize some of the code, right? Because it's like there's only so much code that exists in this time. So you recognize some of the things, and like you can see, okay, this word I saw means this, and here's what it does, right? Like you see like the cat function, and it doesn't mean an actual animal. It's shortened for concatenate, and that means like, so it like you'll see different programming syntax that you understand, which will add to the larger picture of what's happening. However, none of that gives you a firmer understanding of what the code was doing, like what the purpose of that syntax is, to like figure out what this science lady programmed to do what, right? While that's happening, Rossy, you're a frequenter of the library. What are you doing here?
Rossy has decided to grab all the books that Fish had stolen from the Radio Shack,
They were
and
excuse me, if you reach
he
the
has
book,
them in a
she's-
binder
she
so they
is
wouldn't be noticed, and he's
protected.
looking for translation books, which are strangely next to the fantasy section.
I have a question regarding that.
Yes.
Now, because she's been in the Faux Sorensen's basement, and
Okay.
they are Swedish. Does
Okay.
she recognize any? Can she recognize any correlation or any similarities between the writings and O'Rourke's journals and what she may have seen in the basement?
Just to clarify, O'Rourke's journals are in English.
You said there was some stuff that was written. There was some stuff that looked like it was written in Japanese, like a
Yes.
kanji, and there was
Yes.
some stuff who it wasn't Cyrillic or whatever, and
Yes.
it looked
His
like a weird
journals.
language.
His journals are in English. There was
Okay, they're all in English.
dozens of manuals about some sort of
Okay.
like technology, computer, electronics, and they were in several different languages, to include Japanese, or at least some like character-based language of like somewhere in Asia that you can't tell off the
Yeah.
top of your head.
But all the journals are in English then.
Here's what I'll say. Regardless of you having been in the Faux Sorensen's basement, which I love that for the name, at some point Danny would have told you they were Swedish, right? He would have told you that the words in those books are Swedish because you kept them in the hideout. I believe everything in the Faux Sorensen's basement was written in English, as they work in America, and Anika is fluent in English as well. So yeah, you would know that they are, several of the manuals are in Swedish. Rossy, you can easily find books on translation. There's like a especially Swedish, right? Because there's a tie between the Swedish loop and the American loop. There's like a, what do you call those? When you go, like, it's like a welcome to this country, right? Like, it's like, how do you say basic phrases? Like, I'd like a cup of tea, or what's on the menu? You have one of those books that has a bunch of phrases and then like important words that you need to know for a traveler, right? This isn't like you're in high school and you're taking Swedish classes and they're teaching you how to like conjugate verbs and stuff. This is more.
I'm looking for direct word to word.
Yeah. So
like,
so this has
doesn't need to be context or whatever.
Yeah, so this has a good number of common words you'd see. So you can make out a good amount of that in Swedish. Yes, Blake.
I would like to use Blake's pride. I take pride in my ability to find the best book to suggest someone to read. So I would like to suggest the best possible book for the translation of Swedish.
Okay, done. Done. All right. I like that. Yeah, you find a word for word Swedish dictionary. It is in the back of the foreign language section of the library. But yeah, you absolutely find a word for word Swedish language, so you can translate with the with the correctness of 2001 Google Translate. So it is
Good enough.
Yeah, it is very word for word, and a lot of it doesn't make as much sense as it should make, but you get the gist of what it's saying. Yeah, so all of you are in some capacity brainstorming and researching the mad science you have seen over the past several months. The library door opens, ding-a-ling-a-ling, the bell on top, and you can hear the woman at the front desk greeting people as they walk through. If anyone looks up, you see the blue hair parade, as it would be locally known as. You just see a bunch of old people, just olden around. Probably like a dozen just enter in the building, and they head to the opposite wing of where you are. You know that that through that wing is more of a community/senior center. Once you get past the stacks of books over there, there's like a separate room for like meetings and get-togethers and pinochle and other weird old people things.
That's what Fish says. Like, it's Barnacle night.
Parknuckle. And bingo, you know that's going on. So yeah, like a dozen or so all come together. They move. A few minutes goes by. A few more shuffle in. A walker here and there comes by. You hear the wheels of a oxygen tank being rolled through. But yeah, it's just the blue hair parade as they make their way through the stacks towards the community center, and then the library falls silent again. As you all sit there, you notice the sky gets a little darker outside. Not like it's nighttime, not like the massive passage of time, but it was overcast, and the overcast begins to threaten rain as the sky sort of darkens, and you hear the librarian turn up her little radio, and you can just make out the weather report on the radio saying that there is a storm inbound. What are
So
all of
yeah,
you doing?
Fish kind of stands up and she pushes some papers more into the middle, but mostly so the others can see it. And she points. It's like, remember we told you a couple weeks ago, we traveled to like another dimension or something. It was really weird. It was right before the hurricane came, and we were in Danny's basement, and we went through a portal. Okay, there was something, right? Remember we told you about this, right? And then the guys, they found these schematics for this strange device, and she draws this really crude looking box with a lens. We found schematic, is that what you call it, schematics for something that looks like this, and she flips it around and she shows the boys, because Rossy and Elliot were there when we came across that strange camera device that Danny punched us into oblivion with. It looked
100% correct.
It looked just like this, but it was like how to build it.
So you're saying Danny's the mastermind behind all this stuff going on? I don't believe it.
What? No, remember we said Danny wasn't there. As soon as we went into this other dimension, it's like Danny didn't exist.
How do we get
really
back there?
weird.
That sounds like a really good dimension.
Shut up, Elliot. Come on, this is serious. Maybe you didn't exist there either. We don't know.
No, that's my version of heaven.
Well, regardless, we have to. She kind of trails off. I want to get back there. And not because Danny didn't exist there, okay? We have-
I'm just imagining Fish is in front of that freaking giant string board from that scene from The Office.
She has the red marker and she's like drawing across like multiple pages.
Hey, no, not the books. God, my dad's gonna kill me now.
Oh, sorry. Shh.
Who is
Listen,
Pepe
guys.
Silva?
Isn't it? Don't you think that's like,
So,
we
so
have to
Danny's
get back to
parents
that?
are the ones spying on us all this time? They're the ones that have been sending videos of you to our store?
I don't think so. It didn't seem that way. But like remember how I said my mom was still alive?
So
He
it sounds like
she was
sounds
writing
like a
letters to
win-win.
them.
Danny doesn't exist there, and your mum's still alive. Why aren't we there now?
Because it was something to do with the powers. There was like this weird I think John called it like an EMP or something like that, and like it was causing some kind of power fluctuation. Fish is
So
actually
they-
not stupid.
You
For everyone
all
who wonders
uh,
where all this is coming from.
you all recall a few weeks around the hurricane, right? A few days before the hurricane. Well, the few weeks before the hurricane, right? So beginning of September, there was announcements in school, announcements over the radio, announcements on TV, on local TV networks, local news channels, that the Loop, in combination with the Department of Public Works, was working together to redo a bunch of the wiring for the city or for the town to attempt to eliminate as much downtime caused by the hurricane. So there was rolling brownouts for the first few weeks of September until the hurricane hit. And then when the hurricane did hit, you rarely lost power. There was almost no one was reporting power outages. That is what Fish is referring to.
Yeah. And in the letter that my mom wrote to Mr. Fodad of Danny, right? She was talking about something called terrestrial tessellation. And I don't know what that means. But like all I can find is that it's about patterns, right? It creates like I don't know, it's like a puzzle, right? It's like a pattern that forms that all interconnecting pieces. You follow me?
Like fractals?
No. I don't think so. G doesn't think so.
Blake then gets up and goes, grabs the dictionaries, the wall of dictionaries for the whole alphabet, and goes to the T section dictionaries, grabs it, and starts just looking for that word.
Tessellation. You don't find
Yeah.
anything different than what she found. I mean, if you want the technical definition, it is the covering of a surface, often a plane, using one or more geometric shaped called tiles, with no overlaps and no gaps. It does add that in mathematics, tessellation can be generalized to higher dimensions and a variety of geometry. Not dimensions like universes, like dimensions like 3D. You can tessellate in a 3D pattern. But yeah, the definition doesn't provide any more information. However, if while you are there, you look up the definition of fractals, it is vaguely similar. Not the exact same thing. Fractals are a geometric shape containing detailed structures at arbitrarily small scales, usually having like fractal dimensions. Whereas tessellation seems to be like interlocking pieces. So they are similar but different things, but not completely ununique.
I don't know. It was just this whole tessellation thing and like interlocking patterns. What if it has something to do with like interlocking like dimensions or something? Hmm?
I mean, unless we're talking about the dimensions, like I think we're supposed to be at four. There's the four dimensions. There's time is the fourth dimension. forget what the other three were. I have to look it up.
So, but are you saying like in the old Star Trek series, and they had people from an alternate universe that are exactly the same, but they all had goatees and they were evil?
Yeah.
The mirror dimension?
And monocles.
Yeah, that's it.
What? What are we talking about?
Star Trek, there was an alternate dimension with the same people, but they were all
Oh.
kind of the opposite.
Sorry. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
your mum might be evil in that other universe.
My mom's not evil. I don't think she's evil.
Does
And
she
I
have a
don't think
goatee?
Danny's parents were evil either. I didn't see a pic. Did I see a picture of her? Yes, I did see a picture of her. She didn't have a goatee, okay? No one in the picture had any facial hair.
So this is the evil universe because we have Danny. And he looks at Rossy and Blake and says, we've got to grow goatees as soon as possible.
You notice Rossy didn't even pay you any heed when you said that because he's so engrossed in what he's doing. He's actually not hearing any of your all's conversation.
Slowly translating.
And then there was that woman when we were like out of phase or something after Danny punched the device, right? And then Ellie didn't see us, like no one could see us. We were invisible, right? And then there's all those devices pointing at the wall, and then we were like teleported somewhere. By the way, Mike, what happened after we teleported? After lights out, when we were in that hidden bunker in the garage, and the 10th light came on. There was a big bright light, and then we were outside the garage.
You're talking about who goes there.
Yeah, sorry, who goes there?
Yeah.
Yes. What happened after that?
That's what happened. You woke up in the, or you were teleported. You appeared in the driveway, or where a driveway would have been if there were a house there at all, but there was no house.
Is there any way I could roll to see if I remember the address?
Ooh. Yeah, you can. Roll me.
Especially with the help of the boys here who are really heckin' smart.
Yeah, those boys
No.
are helpful occasionally. Let's see.
Rossy should be able to figure out, like on a map, where we went.
What would you roll? It would be comprehend. I think I'm gonna have a comprehend. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 successes, bitch.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. You recall what the address should be, if the place were there, and therefore know how to get past or get back there rather. I'm gonna give it to you, G. What would you like to know with that second success? Must pertain to the first question you asked, but has to be about that house.
Who lives there?
Well, no one. There's no house there.
Okay, so the address that we have is now a vacant lot?
Yeah, it's nothing.
Right.
It's land. There is no house there, and as far as you can tell, there never was. So you know what the address should be if there were to be a house there, and therefore know how to get back there. But there's nobody there.
Would the license plate number of that truck be applicable?
Ooh.
Since we followed the truck there and we were hiding underneath it.
I will say you can have that if you don't already have that written down. You have the license plate number. You just have no way to access police records to pull up a license plate or the DMV.
I'm sure the mob has their connections.
Yeah, I'm sure. Rossy has a few cops in his pocket, you know. Christ.
You just look over, Rossy still translating away.
Yeah, Rossy, you roll me a comprehend with a +2. With a bonus of 2.
3 successes.
Hot
Gee.
damn. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you are crunching through all these words here. You are translating to the best of your ability, flipping back and forth in a Swedish to English dictionary, and writing down as much as you can. The difficulty is these are absolutely manuals, right? So a lot of the book is like schematics and sort of like not quite blueprints, but like circuit board schematics, telephony schematics, right? That kind of thing. So a lot of the technical stuff goes over your head a little bit as you've never built robots or intricate serial networks. So the hard part is figuring out what to translate, right? Because you have like phone book size manuals. So translating the entire thing would take you weeks at the speed you're going. So you are able to pick and choose a handful of pages that seem to be important, right? So far, what you're getting is between the easy stuff, like ones that have actual pictures of the fully assembled thing. These are reference manuals, equipment maintenance manuals for everything from like a VHS player. Some of the ones that are like are some sort of like Southeast Asian based language. Your best guess is Japanese. There's like VHS players, Betamax players, tape decks, new age record players, right? As simple as that to as complex as what you think might be robots. There's no actual pictures of the fully designed robots. You do see occasional schematics on like a part of the robot, which leads you to believe that they could be robots. There is also a good deal of programming language that's a little bit over your head. Obviously, the description of which is in either Swedish or Japanese, and then the actual code, Elliot can kind of bounce off of what he's been reading to determine like what that code would do. But yeah, you think these are all manuals on like building complex electronic machines. With a third success, given what you know from Fish's story in the back room, and what Fish and Jojo have told you about previous things and the things you've seen, your best guess is either O'Rourke was a self-taught engineer of some kind, or he was making a weird piecemeal something out of the parts at hand, and therefore needed to use all these manuals to sort of like disassemble the things he had around him on a low budget. Those are the two big things you get from that, from all the manuals you can find. Obviously, you can spend more time translating them. There's not a whole lot more details unless you add a scientific background to that, so you can figure out what he might have been trying to build. But that is essentially what those are. Blake, what are you?
Hey, Elliot.
Oh, good. Good.
Elliot, you got the coding book over there. Could you run these numbers for me? And he pushes the manuals over to him and points out the code language.
Yeah, Elliot can have a look and give a rough translation of what it's meant to do.
Okay. Roll me a comprehend. You know what? Roll me. Was it program? Roll me program.
Program. I am sucking today.
Would
No.
you like to push for a condition? Use your pride. Use your luck.
Elliot's getting frustrated, so he is going to push and
Okay.
use the upset condition.
Okay. No dice.
He is quite upset.
You
Yep.
you can still use your pride or luck to reroll if you so choose.
No, he's getting
Okay.
frustrated, and he just throws the book back at Rossy and says, "No, it doesn't mean anything."
Yeah.
Careful with the books, Elliot.
Whatever combination of syntax and coding commands are in here is a little bit more complex than intro to Pascal, is teaching you. Blake, what are you doing while all this is going on?
Well, since we kind of know the address of that one area, and I got this small company over again, right?
Yeah. Over again.
I'm gonna check real quick. This is off a hunch. If Over Again owns that property, from what we can tell from the library archives.
Ooh. Roll. Yeah, roll me investigate.
One success.
You scroll again through the microfiche, the click, 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 click of going through various pages of old newspaper clippings. You can't find anything on Over Again owning that land. In fact, it seems to be unowned. It is open for development, meaning like the city owns it.
Well, after that, it's the only thing Blake has left to look up is just Over Again in general.
Yeah, I'll give you the same success on that one. You look up Over Again. The only connections you can find between Over Again, they own a couple random places between Glenbrook and New Arkham City. But there is one common thread that you can find is that Over Again seems to be mentioned multiple times throughout various articles in conjunction with New England Positronics and Twin River Semaphore.
Gonna let everyone know that note, because I know New England has shown up a few times.
Yeah, Fish kind of puts down her pen, kind of leans over. That's the company that owns that scary house.
Why is it always those two?
Yeah. And she taps it. She taps the journals. They were watching O'Rourke or something. Or yeah, I think so. And remember, he had the knife stabbed through their cards. He doesn't like them very much. I'd like to interview this O'Rourke guy again. Well, you can interview him, and I'll just stand there.
You're not allowed back at the Radio Shack.
I know. Maybe we can follow him home, and then we can climb through his window. And she kind of like tips back in her chair, and she's like chewing on her pen.
Fish, you're letting
No,
JoJo's
Fish.
influence get too much to you.
If it works, maybe we can get him to talk. And we have all his journals. Maybe I'm sure he wants them back.
Oh, so that's your proposal. We walk to his front door saying, "Here, we stole these, have them back."
No, tell us what we need to know, and maybe we'll give them back. If you weren't
Yeah, I'm chill. I'm still cool at the Radio Shack, so you can do that, and I'll hide in the brush.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mr. O'Rourke's a good.
The plan is, hey, I stole these things from you. Tell us all we want to know, and we'll give them back to you, maybe.
and he goes to reach for them, and she's like, no.
It sounds like you get the cops called on you, 101.
So we just run away. And she kind of flops back. I don't
Mr.
know.
O'Rourke be in jail anyway?
Why would he be in jail?
Or is this before
it's the same day.
This is the same day. Well, we were in another dimension before. Congratulations, guys. Welcome to the club. Danny punched us into another dimension. Unless
When
we're
we're in
in
the same dimension, we're just invisible. and inaudible?
Something happened. Well, I don't think we were invisible because we were at that house. You were there, Elliot. We were at that house. It was there, and then all of a sudden we weren't. And the house does. What if we're in another dimension now? And she kind of looks around.
Has anything felt different?
Everything always feels different around here. And she throws her pen down.
Well, have you gone home and is your father still the way he was?
Yes.
Then we're probably not in another dimension.
Anyways, Blake, remembering that there's a storm coming, quickly puts the microfilm up before, a power surge maybe happens.
You do
Elliot-
so. You can turn the machine off and head back to the table. Elliot.
Elliot's frustrated, and he's just walking around, picking up books and putting him in the wrong spot.
Oh, come on. My dad knows we're back here. Don't do that.
Elliot, stop being like JoJo.
What a nuisance of a human being.
What's wrong, Elliot? Why are you so grumpy?
You're talking about O'Rourke like he's this evil guy. He's pretty cool. I go to the Radio Shack all the time.
You know him?
Yeah, there's not many other people you can talk to about programming stuff. I even showed him the tape of the ghost bikes.
What?
The
You showed
videotape.
him that?
Yeah,
Do we the security footage
yeah.
you're talking about? Okay. You
One
showed
where
that to
the
him?
bikes were moving on their own.
Yeah, when we turned up to the house, there was video camera footage and it just showed the bikes moving and you couldn't see us.
What did he say?
He just said it's an easy, special effect that anyone could do with wires and stuff like that.
Hey, Mike,
So he didn't believe he was.
Yes.
did O'Rourke mark his name down in any of his journals and, the books we took?
I feel like no, because they're his journal, right? Like he wouldn't need to put his own name in his journal. Because he's not a 13-year-old girl who put property of
Fuck you.
property of Jordana Fisher.
Do not read.
Yeah. That means you, Dad! Exclamation point, underline.
Dang it! Well,
And
there
the
goes
inside
that
is all
idea.
hearts that say JJ on them.
that idea.
Sorry. Yeah, I feel like an adult would not write their name.
Could Rossy forge his name onto it to make it look believable?
What is your end goal with that?
Rossy wants to give the journals to Elliot, and Elliot would return them to O'Rourke, saying he found them and is like, "Oh, I saw his name in it," and maybe we could get the information we want that way. Maybe Elliot could convince O'Rourke to tell him what they're about.
Interesting. I mean, if Elliot is friends enough with Mr. O'Rourke, then he would know his handwriting, right? If you spend enough time there, you'd probably see his handwriting on things. So, I mean, you could say that Elliot knows his handwriting, and could return it that way.
Yeah, Elliot would be all for returning Mr. O'Rourke stuff.
These are my journals now. And she gathers them all up.
Rossy has they're in a binder that Rossy made, so he just grabs the binder.
Hey!
And I will do a strength test against this.
Oh, sure. Fuck you. I will do a strength test.
Both of you roll force.
I'm not all that strong, but I will
as
roll.
you fight over these books. What a nerd combat this is.
I use my pride.
What is your pride?
Imagine the story this will make.
Oh, what a good pride. Yeah, okay. All right, cool. Unless G you wanna use your pride.
Imagine the story this would
my
make.
pride
I'm
doesn't
using this
exist.
on the basis of I know the information I could use for both our journals and private notebooks and the newspaper club.
Yeah,
as like a side column.
Yeah.
I just spent a luck and I didn't, so I didn't succeed.
Okay. So you burn through a luck. Yeah, you have a comical tug of war over a
Yeah.
2-inch binder
Rossy,
full of
you
notebooks.
wanted to leave them behind. I'm the one who took them. They're mine. I got
Do you
banned
not
from Radio Shack
understand?
because of these.
Fish, do you not understand what we could use them? You want to take them to his house and threaten him with it. That will just end you up in juvie.
Oh, I don't actually want to do
We have a
that.
we have Elliot here who knows O'Rourke. We could return them on the pretext of being nice and like, oh, they're friends. And Elliot could try to could ask, oh, what were they about anyway? Because Elliot could probably have made a reasonable think that I peeked into them to find out they were O'Rourke's.
He thought the security camera footage of the bikes was a movie trick. He's not going to tell us. He's just going to think Elliot, no offense, Elliot. He's just going to think Elliot is just some weirdo kid. He's like, oh, I can tell kids whatever the hell I want. And they'll believe it.
Hot kettle.
Elliot, how you talk about O'Rourke about programming and stuff, right?
Yeah, all the time. If he was in the his shop today, I wouldn't be here. But he's not, so I had to come here.
Well, next time we find him, we can give Elliot the binder and they can start one of those programming conversations. And I bet Elliot could probably wheel the information out of him.
Yeah, I'm pretty smooth.
Okay.
Oh,
Like 007.
well, anyway, after Blake was done researching what he wanted to, he brings up the fact, should we try to figure out if we can find anything in the library about Mr. LeBall?
I don't think
Good
we're going
luck.
to find anything interesting. He works for the Loop. I think
Not
that's
anything
probably-
interesting, just more information about him. If it's even his real name, for all we know, it's just a fake alias he gave us.
Well, how are we going to find that information? That information's not going to be in the library.
Well, I have no doubt they have photos of previous employees of the Loop of every year calendar thing. I think they do.
What, they do a sexy Men of the Loop calendar?
No, I mean end of a year. This is the
Yeah.
group that works here. Photo in front of the building.
Oh,
Like the big school photos, where the photographer stands on the roof and everyone stands in the playground.
So since
Or is that just a Canadian thing?
No, that's the thing. It's a thing
That's a
here.
good
We spell out the year. We spell out the year with our human
Oh,
bodies.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's what the Loop does. They do the same thing
Yes.
elementary school students do.
But it's spelled Loop.
just like they write their names in their journals. What's
Oh, Jesus.
the logic of of early teenage years is just fucking mint.
Yeah.
I brought Fish here because I haven't met LeBall in person, so she's one of the few people that could
You don't want to meet him.
probably
I've never
recognize
met
his
him, but I've
face.
seen him.
Blake, you would be fairly certain, much to what you've already said, there would probably be articles of achievement, or like, when the Loop was being built, there would be things like, or like, progress on the Loop or anything the Loop does. Plus the Loop does like the 4th of July event and like, they were at the end of year football game. Like they sponsor things just like a Pizza Hut throughout the city, throughout the town, like ball games and whatever. So you're sure you could find an article with his name. The problem is you can't like search. There's no like Control F on a microfiche. You just have to go through like newspapers, turning the knob until you find one. So yeah, you could do that.
All right. So investigate.
Yeah, investigate. Okay. Yeah, after a good like 10 or 15 minutes of you power back on the microfiche, you load in a few of the little pods in there. And once the bulb warms up, you start clicking through the various newspaper articles. You do find one with the assistance of Fish of a picture, not quite the front page, but like page 6, of several scientists, or at least several people in lab coats, with something vaguely sciencey looking behind them, and in the subtext beneath it, it lists geneticist Aidan LaBelle as his name.
Aiden.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a name that you name people.
I don't know if you're just being judgy G or if you're actually.
What is this, 2005?
Right.
Jesus.
I know one person named Aiden. So
How old is Aiden?
It doesn't say.
Oh,
Does not
are you
say.
asking the one I know in real life?
Yes.
24.
There we go. That's why.
All right.
Says the person named
Actually,
Fish.
no. Sorry, I'm getting there. I know 2 Aidens. My nephew's name is Aiden. And he's like
10.
4 years old.
It's not a
Right.
very evil name.
Yeah, my cousin Scott, his son's name is Aiden.
The mastermind name, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Geneticist.
Yeah, geneticist Machiavellian LaBelle. No, it's
God,
it's a
God,
regular.
if my cousin find out I forgot about his son, he'll be mad at me.
I mean, it sounds like the classic evil villain plot. They get mocked as a child for having the name Aiden turn into a supervillain.
Well, ha ha.
You're gonna turn Danny into a supervillain. You keep
All
making
right.
it-
So, just a quick question. What year was this news article from?
1978.
Wait,
there a
1978.
Is there a
Did Fish? Does he look older?
yeah
or
that's what I'm
younger?
gonna ask. What
I mean,
did-
it's 6 years ago or 7 years ago. So like, once you hit adulthood, you got a good chunk of years where you're pretty much like the same. So I mean, he
no.
looks appropriately middle aged, right? He doesn't look like a 20-year-old. He doesn't look like a 70-year-old. So
So how
and it's hard to tell gray hair in black and white photos.
yeah. So if I could discern the 2 times that I've seen him in person, how old does he look?
Like somewhere between a well-kept 30 and 50-year-old.
Okay.
But we saw that video as well that looked like it was much in the past, and he looked about the same.
No, we don't.
That is true.
Remember you said to destroy the tapes.
But he still saw it.
We still
Yeah,
watched it.
Yeah, we still saw it, but we don't have them now.
I know,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying he's looked about the same for a very long time, like a vampire.
Or like a geneticist who found the fountain of youth and didn't want to share it?
Yeah, the video. Do you?
If he's a geneticist, he wouldn't actually need to find the fountain of youth. If he was good enough, he could just alter his own genetics to make him look younger.
That was the analogy I was referring to. The fountain of youth, as in he found a way to stay youthful.
Vampirism. It's a fountain of youth of a sort.
He could be a vampire.
Yeah, well, we haven't had any mysterious cases of people showing up with less blood.
Yeah. We don't know what he does in that weird ass loot place.
You do find a secondary article, Blake. Sorry, you got me caught up with his age. That lists him. It's just him, and it's far more recent. It's like 1981, and it is referring to him no longer as geneticist Aidan LaBelle. It refers to him as department head Aidan LaBelle. Meaning at some point he was just a scientist, and now he seems to be some manner of department head.
Does it say what department? And she leans over to look.
It does not.
Mhm.
It says
Like it-
it says DART, department head.
remember, yeah. As soon as she sees like the dart, remember, and she takes the binder away from Rossy, and she plops it down and flips through the thing to the journal, and then she jabs it with her pen right where O'Rourke refers to the loop as the Department of Research into Teleportation. And she take it with her own pen. She circles the word in the journal.
But teleportation's got nothing to do with genetics.
No.
Actually, you kind of need
It
to know the
kinda
full
does.
genetic body of someone before you teleport them.
Well, it depends on what type of teleportation. You've seen enough sci-fi. Was Star Trek? Is their teleporters basically disassemble the person and reassemble them somewhere else?
Yeah, but that's
He-
science.
They disassemble their pattern like puzzle pieces and then puts it all together.
They don't disintegrate them and regrow them.
No, but it's like they're being taken apart like a puzzle piece, and then like I've seen Star Trek, like would they have had like special features because they, when
Yes, they
in the
do
ni-
have
in
the
the-
special effects where they fade in and out.
yeah, it's like in the 90s though, they explained like how that effect was done with like sparkles in water and stuff like that.
Oh, you mean like a
Would-
how things work? No,
yeah.
I don't think how things work. Where the closest you have to how things work in New England in the 1980s is Mr. Wizard. I'm pretty sure is what the show is called. And
So
Mr. Wizard was like like an old man version of Bill Nye the Science Guy. Like a grumpy old man
Oh.
version of Bill Nye the Science Guy, if memory serves me.
You mean current Bill Nye?
the Bill Nye who hated his job.
Yeah, it's like if Bill Nye were the dad from if he were Archie Bunker, right? If he were that's what he looks like. He's got like a sweater with the collar out over the top of it, and he's got like only hair around the side of his head. He's bald on the front and the top. Does no one know Mr. Wizard?
No.
Oh wow, I'm
No.
old.
Sorry.
Someone in the comments, let me know if you know Mr. Wizard, please.
I mean, I'm in a completely different country, so
That's fair.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
fair.
so like my point is that Fish wouldn't know what the behind the scenes effect was for the
Yeah, no.
teleporter. Okay. But yeah, so it's like, yeah, they're not I'm not talking about being disintegrated, but like technically if you take a puzzle and you break it up, you can put it back all together again, and that's kind of like what the teleporter does. It seems a
Yeah.
little bit out there for a geneticist, but what do I know? Right?
Things.
Yeah, what do you know exactly?
Rossy's gonna take a look out the window to see if maybe walk over, see if you can see like if there's the storm's progressing and how it's progressing.
Yeah, what kind of storm? Was it just rain, thunder?
The sky is
Mm.
completely overcast and like dark, like almost night black. You can still see like little pockets of like of bright light where the sun would be. But it seems as though there is going to be some level of thunderstorm based on the clouds forming overhead. It hasn't started raining yet, but it is very dark. And wind has picked up. You see like leaves tumbling down the street.
Honestly, y'all, it might be time to wrap all this up and go home.
I just feel like we've done a lot, but I don't know what it all means yet. I have to get back to that other dimension. I'm gonna find my mom. And then maybe she'll come here.
A thought actually occurred to me, and since it's supposedly with this department of teleportation, Fish, you and me have teleported twice, supposedly. And the second time, we weren't really on like a fixed location. It just kind of happened.
All weird stuff has been happening lately. Like,
Who's to say they can't just grab us at any time?
don't say that. And she looks around. Is there anyone else in the library? So I also feel like they haven't been using their library voices.
Oh yeah, you absolutely have not been using your library voices. The shh from the front desk has just gone completely ignored, or not even heard.
Mhm.
You look around the library. No, it seems dead quiet in here. You hear nothing except for your own voices and the occasional like page turn of whatever book the librarian is reading. You ignore the shushes. You can't hear anything else. There's no real sound coming from outside. Like there's no like rattle of the wind or anything. There's no like people walking by or driving by. Yeah,
It is
no.
a Saturday too, right?
It is a Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of weirdos are going to be in the library on a Saturday afternoon?
Yeah. It's an interesting question.
Mm-hmm. No one
I
will
think it's a
that.
good question to be answered by the corruption bar. As you look around the library, trying to see if anyone else has popped in, or looking outside at the storm as it progresses, and possibly tidying up the messes you've made all over this table. Rossy, you are glancing out the window at the storm, and you see a black Chrysler LeBaron pull up to the street, pull up to the curb. Someone gets out of the driver's seat, walks around to the passenger seat, and not walks around, walks to the passenger seat right behind them, and opens the door. All of you who are looking out the window, you see a young man, not Mr. LaBelle, get out with a cane, full black suit, completely black shirt, black tie, and much to your shock and dismay, pitch black skin and golden eyes. He steps out of the vehicle, nods to the driver. The driver closes his door and gets back in the car, and the car drives away. And this man walks up the stairs, click, step, click, step up the stairs and into the library where you hear the ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling of the door. He walks over to the librarian there. He leans on the counter, and there is a whispered conversation. And he begins to walk off in the direction of the elderly people. Yes, question.
Yeah.
Rossy.
So as soon as the car pulled up and someone gets out, can we and we see him, can we Fish will be like, get down, and she's gonna hide under the table.
I flick off the microfilm.
Yeah, you turn the microfiche off, and Fish is hiding under a table in a well-lit room covered in books. Elliot and Rossy, what are you doing?
Rossy's making no effort to hide. He doesn't see the point.
Okay.
He's just some random kid to this guy, probably.
Elliot's doing the obvious nonchalant browsing of the stacks, even though it's totally obvious that he's watching the guy coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. So you all see this happen. Fish, your first instance is this might be LaBelle. As you are the only person here who's actually seen him. Oh no, Elliot, you've also seen him on tapes, I believe. You've seen his face, rather. So this man walks in, he gets out of the vehicle. Again, it is, as far as you can tell, this is absolutely not LaBelle. His hair is sort of slicked back in a business-style coif with a right side part. He is in a black suit, shiny black shoes, a black pressed shirt, and a black tie, and his skin matches the color of all of his outfits. And his eyes sort of almost glow gold. Like the way that like you see a cat or a dog in the dark, that sort of like almost glowing effect. And he strides in. As I said, he puts an elbow on the counter, has a quiet conversation with the librarian, and he heads off to the opposite wing from where you guys are. He doesn't even look in your direction.
Yeah, Fish will be like, holy shit. Just question, is he wearing the same type of suit LaBelle wears?
Is Fish a fashionista?
No.
Then he's wearing a black suit.
Okay.
I mean, unless you know a lot about suits, they all at some point they look the same, right?
But it's okay. But it's not like do they both wear black suits?
You have
all
seen
the-
LaBelle. You've seen LaBelle in a black suit. You've also seen him
Okay.
in a ringmaster costume. You've also
Yeah, like she only would have seen him at the birthday bash. So
and at the end of Carnival of Screams.
yes, that is true.
Yep.
Okay. So other than black suit, I obviously can't tell like
Yeah. You know that LaBelle wears a suit like a normal person. He wears like a black suit, a white shirt, and a tie.
Okay.
The tie may change colors, but this guy was wearing black on black on black.
Oh, okay.
Rossy walks back from the window over to the table, grabs the 2-inch binder that has all the O'Rourke stuff in it, closes it up, grabs his personal journal, and grabs all the translation books, puts them up, and comes by the table and says, "All right, I guess it's time for some investigative journalism." It starts walking towards the old people room.
Whoa,
Wait,
where are you
give
going?
me a minute. Take like 5 to put up the microfilm. And I
Rossy is
start
not
putting up the
waiting.
machine.
Okay. So Blake, you begin to like put everything back where it goes, right? To Elliot and Fish, what are you doing?
Elliot just looks over at Fish and says in a way to loudly whisper, "Vampire."
You see the eyes? She grabs up all her papers and she like jams them all together and dumps them in her bag, and she's gonna quickly follow Rossy. Come on.
Yep.
Blake, hurry up.
Wait, Dad will kill me. He knows I was accessing the microfilm today.
Do it later.
Yeah.
No. Puts it up.
Slowly puts them all back. So a few minutes later, Blake is able to join Elliot, Fish, and Rossy as they enter the east wing of the Black Plain Public Library. You guys head toward that area. There is a hallway leading towards the more communal area of this, the more community-driven area. As you enter the hallway, you begin to hear the sounds of bingo happening. You hear the rolling of balls tumbling inside of a cage, the occasional call out of B11, as it is said over the thing. And as you walk through, Rossy, you'd be the first one to see this. As you walk in, you see tables, banquet style, with various elderly playing bingo. And on the back side of the room, you see a raised platform, like a little stage, where someone is rolling those balls, and another door back there. And you see this person, disappear through that door, walks through the door.
Why is his skin like that? And his eyes? I'm whispering.
Fish, it's not very polite to talk about someone's skin color.
Yeah.
Come
Don't
on,
be
that's not-
insensitive.
That's not normal.
He's a vampire, like I said.
Wouldn't vampire skin be pale white?
Yeah.
Well,
Because
like
they can't get
maybe-
sunlight?
A reverse vampire, because he was out in the daylight. Maybe he can't
Wouldn't that
be
make
out
him a
at night.
zombie then?
No, reverse vampire would make him someone who gives a healer, basically, giving life instead of taking it
Or
away.
he just means he goes out in the day and sleeps at night. Like a normal person, Elliot.
Like a reverse vampire is a phlebotomist. Someone who administers blood.
She looks and then she's gonna nonchalantly speed walk across the bingo hall.
Okay.
toward the door.
Yeah, there are the typical elderly cat calls of like, "Oh, my young lady, you're so welcome. Please come sit down with us. Enjoy. We need add some youth and vigor to our games." As you quietly speed walk, as quietly as you can, speed walk by.
Bingo's for old people. And she-
What are the rest of you doing? Are you also
I
speed
guess-
walking by the elderly?
Not speed walking, just walking.
Okay.
Yeah, just casually walking.
Yeah.
Slightly shaking my head.
Yeah, the same thing. The same thing continues. Oh my, such a handsome man! Please come sit.
Rocky
As
just waves at them as he walks by.
oh, so nice.
Hi, Abigail.
polite.
Bye, Abigail.
Oh, what a lovely young man that is.
Yeah.
See, he knew my
Uh,
name.
Elliot's making comments about Logan's Run and Soylent Green and stuff like that.
Yeah, perfect. They absolutely know what you're talking about. You cross the bingo hall, and towards Soylent Green. You cross the bingo hall, and towards this back door. The door is open. It is opened out, and you see that a set of stairs descends down into what you presume to be a basement.
She
You
looks up
continue?
and down. Yeah, Fish is gonna go.
Elliot looks at Blake and says, "The library has a basement."
Yeah, you didn't know that. That's where, it's where we
That's where
keep
the archives
the
are.
very, very, very old newspapers that have already been microfilmed.
And like bad books.
No, just newspapers, from what I
Hmm.
know.
Duplicates of
What?
books for like book drives and
Yeah.
things like that.
What-
The
what do you need
damaged
to-
books, that's where they usually go before they get
Decorations
shipped
for
off to Goodwill.
holidays.
Us. Okay, she's gonna go down.
I forget sometimes that so much of the rest of the world doesn't have basements and stuff. Like,
My
I
local
play-
library was just more library.
Yeah,
My
like-
local library had a
So-
basement, and that's where they kept the archives.
yeah,
My
yeah.
also library also had a little supply store that had sold school supplies at
Yeah.
basically 25% less than what you might
Yeah.
find at Walmart.
Little notepads and pencils.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird when I play with people from the South who are like, basement?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like
I have a
like
basement.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. It's a big thing up here. Yeah, so you head down. Fish, as the first person here, you notice that there is a single light bulb that is out. Is not turned on in the top of the stairwell here, but it descends into darkness as you try to click the light on. Click, 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 click. Light doesn't come on.
Oh, my dad does this all the time, and I screw in the light bulb.
You reach up and screw in the light bulb, and at the same time, like Fish clicks the bulb, and you see it like flare to life, and then
Fish, you're so
Sorry.
sweet.
I didn't know you were doing it. Sorry. Okay. That guy was in a is in one of those cars, the LeBaron car. I think those are loop cars. It's like standard issue, right? Everyone in the loop drives one. So does that mean?
Or
he-
it's just
he
a
don't-
good black car to look inconspicuous because the loop drives them.
Yeah, the mayor drives one.
But isn't
Well-
that the opposite of being inconspicuous? If you have something that everyone else has,
No, you look official.
I guess. So
All right, how dark is it? It was one of those like really dark, or is there like small amounts of like ambient light?
in the staircase, it is fully lit where you are now because the room you're leaving is lit. The further you down you go, it is pitch black.
she pulls out her little key.
Kids like
chain
Rossy still
fob.
make out shapes.
Yeah, you can all make out shapes. Once you're at, it's like being in a movie theater with the movie off. Like you can still make out like shapes of like vague shapes.
Rossy's
you-
going to start descending then.
Okay.
Fish has her little her little fob light, and
Yep.
she's gonna follow right behind him and shine. I don't think it's gonna illuminate anything, but she's gonna shine it regardless.
Okay. Yeah, you head down. Blake and Elliot, are you headed down as well?
Well, yeah, they're going to get lost down there if we're not down there.
Yeah, Elliot's going down.
Yeah, the four of you head down the stairs slowly. Fish's tiny key light is illuminating as much as it can as Rossy focuses all of his senses on night vision. And you descend, I don't know, 10, 15 feet down into this this basement of the library. The first thing you notice is there is like a couple piles of boxes. Those kind of boxes that have like the lid on them, sort of neatly stacked. They're all like labeled with like years. You see chairs that are stacked like not folding chairs, but like just chairs that are stacked like one is face up, one's face down on top of each other. Rows of chairs for usage in like the community centers of things. You see a series of lockers that are labeled with the various holiday that they each represent. And eventually the hallway widens out to a much larger room where you see similar like book stacks, except they're metal. They're cheaper, like corrugated metal, with various books along them. Not quite in any sort of Dewey Decimal order, but there does seem to be some kind of catalog to them. They seem to be in some semblance of order. And the
Alphabetical, maybe?
They seem to be alphabetical by some sort of type, right? They're not exactly the same type as upstairs, but whatever library code this uses for spare books or damaged books or what have you, possibly books they're like on back order, books they're looking for more of. Yeah, it's like going into like a layaway section of a store where like things are in order, you just don't know what the hell the order is, right?
Yeah.
And as
Can
you
I-
sort of scan around with your light, you don't see anyone down here.
Can I listen for his tapping of his cane and his footsteps?
Yeah, roll me investigate.
3 successes.
Wow.
Oh shit.
We know exactly where he is.
Yeah.
Behind what wall, what door.
Fish has gained echolocation.
Yeah, you actually threw a homemade tracking beacon onto his cane from under the table. He never even saw it coming.
It's
Yeah,
only been
yeah.
a few days since we last heard that cane sound in that haunted house. So
That's true. Yeah, you get down there, you're flashing your key fob around, and you start listening for any sound here. You occasionally hear like a drip, you hear an occasional like hiss of steam. Steam power is a thing. Not steam power, steam heat is a thing here in the 80s in New England. And eventually you, as you like full on hone into like eyes closed, like hold your breath for a second, you hear a muffled like conversation. Maybe you hear some sort of muffled speech happening, muffled talking. It seems to be coming from the far end of this archive room, the basement here.
did you guys hear that? I hear some
No.
people talking. Shh! I hear people talking over there. Come on, let's go. And she
Does Rossy see which direction she points?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean she has a key fob,
Rossy
so
picks up his pace while trying to remain quiet.
Yeah. She follows. Elliot, hurry up.
Could Blake possibly know what room they're probably talking in, since we're going in a general direction?
yeah, Blake. There's no other rooms in the basement. There's the stairs, the little hallway, and the one room.
It's weird. It shouldn't be that muffled.
Unless
And
they're
Blake
talking.
proceeds to follow.
You four make it to the other side of the basement. Looks like a larger version of like a basement in your home. Rows of boxes, other things, chairs, ornaments, like I said. You get to the area, Fish, that you swore you heard a noise coming from. There's just a basement wall.
She shines a light. Could have sworn this is where it was. She turns to Blake. Is there any other rooms in here?
There shouldn't. That's why it was kind of confusing when you said it was muffled, but
It's like any
no,
vampire's
there's
house.
not.
There's a
Is there a book of
hidden room.
shelves nearby?
Sure. Yeah, there's books and shelves all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, like right next against the
There's a
wall,
random bookshelf against the wall there.
Yeah, yeah.
Elliot,
or
where do vampires
candelabra.
go?
Yeah, just,
No, I don't
just
think-
that one random book that doesn't seem out of place and you just pull it.
Yeah, it seems slightly larger and wider than the rest of them with like gold
I'll
embossment.
be honest, Rossy was gonna
Yes.
start like tapping on the wall to listen to like areas that might be hollow.
You know,
Because
there's one wall
Blake
with
is going to
the
do that again. It failed at the house, the Double Dog Dare house. But he's like, it's going to work this time. It pulls a random book.
Yeah, you pull a random book and it tips forward.
It's like young Frankenstein. Pull the book, everyone jumps back.
Yeah. Nothing happens. The book just tips at an angle. You wait a second, slide it back in. Nothing happens.
Fish,
She
can I
was-
see your light for a second?
She hands it to him. Elliot,
Rossy takes the light and like goes it along the edge of the bookshelf. See if it casts See if it feels like it shines into something.
You on the edge of the bookshelf, you
Mhm.
slide it against like between the wall and the bookshelf, and there's a gap. It's you see the wall.
Elliot.
Wait. Turn off the light. Turn off the light.
Yeah. Where do vampires keep their lairs? And when they're in libraries?
I have no idea. Turn off the light. And if you cover off the light, is there any light coming from
Rossy
any
turns it off.
part of the wall that might
Uh,
indicate a room?
good question. Yeah, you do see a dim beam of light on the floor in the center of the wall.
And Elliot will point that if I was a vampire, that's where I'd keep my secret room.
She's gonna go to that spot and put her ear against the wall.
You put your ear like you're on the ground. Is that what are you laying down
No.
at the crack?
Sorry, the crack is in the wall or in the floor?
The crack is between the wall and the floor, like the seam where the wall meets the
Like
floor.
like a door, like the bottom of a door type thing.
Yeah, like a door jam. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So she's gonna put it against the wall to see if she can hear anything through the wall.
Okay. Yeah, you hear more of that muffled something. It sounds not quite underwater, but it definitely sounds like far away, like it's coming through something.
Can Rossy reach under that? Like, is the crack thick, like wide enough where you could reach his hands under and maybe try to pull it?
It is not. It is maybe like less than the width of your pinky nail, right? You could pry something or find another way to try to open the door, if there is a door here. Like, you're not sure how it opens, but it's definitely not enough to get your fingers underneath.
Blake's going to where we see the light coming from, he's going to run his finger next to it, start to feel where the wall becomes wall to floor instead of this gap wall floor.
Mm-hmm. You can find the edges of it. Yeah.
Yeah, to just like take the edges of where it's at as best as possible.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's easy enough to do. You can do that. You
Right,
slide
so we
your
know
fingers around the bottom. You can find where the edges of this supposed door are.
And there's no way I can hear what some of the words that are being said.
Roll me investigation.
Can I use one of my 3 successes for that, or?
No.
Well,
No.
I'll add one more.
Okay, one more will do it. You can't hear the specific words that are being said, but what you do hear is that there are multiple voices. You can hear, like, as you're like fully pressed against this wall, right? You can hear 5 distinct voices.
5?
Yeah, you only saw one person come down here, so maybe one of the elderly people are down here. You're not sure, or maybe they've been down here the whole time. But you hear 5 distinct voices. But again, everything sounds like it's underwater.
Mike, Elliot's going to try to find a book with a relatively thin hardcover.
Yep.
And run it up the seam, trying to find a mechanism that he can activate, as if he's seen in the movie someone does with a credit card.
Yeah, you can easily find that. There's plenty of books around here. You find a hardcover copy of one of them, and you're sliding it on the wall seam or the floor seam.
Yeah, the wall seam.
Okay. Yeah, so you slide in this cover as best you can, and you begin to slide this book up. The first thing you notice is as you're sliding it up, if you're looking at the cover side, at one point there are red fractals on the book as you slide it past, and then you keep going. There's another set of red fractals, and then another set of red fractals, as if there's some sort of light source in the wall.
He looks over at Blake and Rossy and Fish. What's causing that? Where's that coming from?
The quick question with these, the red light, does it kind of look like a laser pointer red light?
It does kind of look like a laser pointer red light.
Because he knows that the library has the scan guns now to check in some of the books.
Okay.
So he won.
It does kind of look like that, except as you look around, there's no like scan gun hanging, right? There's no like source of light for that. Elliot, roll me a investigation or comprehend.
And Fish will also mention that she hears 5 voices.
Finally, a success.
Elliot, your best guess is that the source of that light is coming from within the crack. As like you're seeing the
okay.
refractals as it's hitting the book
Yep.
cover and sort of adding a little bit of a glow effect to the cover itself.
It's coming from within the door somehow.
And you notice 3 distinct points of light.
He'll tear the book cover into 3
Okay.
and put it on each 3 point.
Okay. You.
What is the book that he ruins?
Don't tell me it's a first edition. Don't do it.
No. It is already missing the back cover. But it is a science fiction book called Mobius Dick, where it is a sci-fi time travel space whale hunt. You tear the cover off the book, leaving it only bound by its spine. Rip it into 3 sections, and you slide each of these at those 3 points. And as soon as you do, there's a very slight click, and you can see that the wall separates by like 1/4 of an inch or half a centimeter for you metric folk, as it just slightly opens.
Rossy sees that. Does Rossy see that? Because he's gonna try to open it.
Yeah, if you're all around the wall, you see that.
Rossy's gonna gently get his hands where he can start trying to pull on that.
Okay. You grab some fingertips on this thing, and you slowly pull this thing open. As you pull it open, the book cover falls, the 3 book covers fall, and you see those 3 beams of light cross between the door. You see into a room. There appears to be no one in this room. There are no exits to this room. There are no doors. The entire room is black. Not to say that the room is dark. The room is painted in black. And on the far wall, it's probably like on either side of the door, it's probably like 3.5 feet by 3.5 feet. It's maybe a 10-foot wide room by 10 feet. This is a cube. The only thing in here is a weird symbol on the floor. One you have never seen before. It does not match the weird donut symbol. And you see, for Elliot, this is clearly some like Hellraiser shit. There is like a weird occult symbol on the floor, possibly. And there is what Elliot cannot mistake for anything but an altar on the opposite side of this.
Rossy pulls out his journal and makes a quick sketch of all this.
Okay.
Does it look like the symbols we saw at the Double Dog Dare house?
It does not.
Oh.
Sorry, what are those 3 red lights at the door?
They're lasers.
Okay.
They're a laser beam that goes from like, you ever see like a bank vault open in like a sci-fi movie and they have like the laser beams going across? That's what it is. There's like 3 points of light that seem to go across. Once the door opens, they fully cross the door.
Okay, so is it like does it look like a security thing? Like is there a way for us to get past these lasers?
I mean, your best guess is because you haven't seen otherwise other than movies, that they're light and not like an actual laser beam that's going to burn you. So
we've seen movies though.
Yeah. But you're fairly certain we don't have the technology to make laser beams. These are like light beams, like a laser pointer, not like melt your skin lasers. Yeah, if you like slide on your belly underneath it, you would be able to not hit one of them.
Okay.
Mike, I don't know if this was a thing in the US, but in Australia, that libraries used to have like a black light scanner that they would run books under, and it would identify that it was from the library.
That sounds cool. Yeah, sure.
Is there, down in these archives, are there any black light scanners around?
Sure.
Yep. Elliot will grab one off a shelf and just start scanning around the rooms, looking for the obvious blood trail.
Great. Are you scanning the archive room or this new black room?
This new black room with the altar and stuff.
Okay. Are you, just to clarify, are you walking through the light beams, or are you just holding it in and sort of scanning around the room?
Oh no, he completely goes through the light beams.
Okay, cool.
Wait, Elliot.
Fish, you see all of the light beams. Well, you see 2 of the 3 light beams break. Oh no, Elliot's a tall kid, right? You see the light beams break. And
Elliot.
once they break, they do not come back on. And you see Elliot with a series of extension cords and a black light bar as he is
Okay.
scanning the interior of the room.
I thought you were gonna say we
Well,
see
I guess
Elliot
not.
disintegrate or something.
disintegrate. It's
Well,
like-
no obvious alarm,
cutting
so
it.
I guess let's go.
yeah,
No
that's-
obvious alarm. I think the
Yeah.
alarm's already set off. The lights didn't come back on, but okay.
The guys were in here.
Blake, can you just wedge the door open with something?
Well, he already destroyed it. I grabbed what's left of that book, put it there. Not the thin cover, the actual pages of the book.
Like a little
Okay.
door down.
to like stop the door, like as a doorstop.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you do so, and the remaining 3 of you walk inside.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you do so. Elliot, you are scanning the walls and around. I will leave this up to Elliot's brain. There is not a trail of blood. There's not like a spatter, but you do see that the interior of this room does not seem to match the exterior of this room, right? Whereas the exterior, like the library side, was like basement, like poured cement foundation walls. The interior seems to be large brick almost, except completely smooth and black, with barely noticeable seams between them. But it's like as if there's no like mortar. There's no like finger line of mortar between the bricks. And it's a very thin seam, and it appears to be like 5 inches by like 9 or 10 inches, the size of these bricks. So your best guess would be like kind of like cinder blocks would be what they were, but perfectly smooth. And in no sort of pattern, every few blocks at random sort of like angles and numbers and whatever, there is writing in a language that you don't recognize, and it is only visible in the blacklight spectrum.
And Elliot will point that out to everyone and then go, Rossy, remember back at the bowling alley, did you write down those voices we heard? What did they say?
Rossy pulls out his notebook and starts scrolling through the pages. I think I wrote them down, but I can't remember what they say. Let me find the right page here.
But guys, where did the
Can I roll to find the right page?
You can have it. You did say you wrote it down before. I have it in front of me. Yeah, you pull out the page of what they all said, or you have it ready. Are you trying to recite those things?
Yes, sir.
Okay. They say, I am the Gnasher in the dark. I am the sound before a scream. And she lies. I am the dark between the ground. I am the space between dreaming. We 4 are here. You called us from beyond the grave. The chorus has assembled. The pack has been sealed.
We 4 here? Gee, you said you heard 5 voices, right?
Yeah, there was 5 voices, but where did they go? They were inside here. There's no weird, like, kid brain spot where 5 adult people could be hiding, is there?
No. As far as you can tell, this is a 10 by 10 room. I mean, arguably 10 by 10 by 10 of weird black stone.
Hey,
Yeah.
Elliot, hold the light up to those words over there, and Rossy is going to start like writing them down as accurately as you can. Do they look Swedish or like Japanese kanji or anything?
They do not. They don't look like any sort of language you have seen before.
Or he's gonna basically very carefully recreate it in his journal.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Blake is going to look behind the altar, see if there's anything over there.
You see that the altar is like an old I don't know, Victorian, like Edwardian style desk, like a almost like a makeup desk, right? You'd sit down. There's a large mirror on the front of this thing. You see that it is a wooden desk, 4 legs. They all end in clawed feet. Traditionally, things like that would end in like a lion claw. This does not seem to be that. It is vaguely reptilian. There's a drawer in the center that opens. There's nothing inside the drawer. And on top of the desk, there are several equally black, varying degrees of melted candles that abut a large ovular mirror. There is like fleur-de-lis and like filigree around the mirror, and it looks very fancy. But if you look behind it, it just seems like a desk. You could pull it forward and move it back if you wanted to. It doesn't seem to be attached to anything.
The candles. Is the wax hot or is it just room temperature cold?
It is room temperature cold.
Sorry, you said there was a mirror? Is it on the desk or on the wall?
Picture like an old school like makeup desk, right? The mirror
Oh.
is part of the desk, right? It's part of it's like a there's a word for that kind of desk that I just can't think of right off the top of my head.
A vanity.
A
Thank
vanity.
you. It's like a vanity. Thank you.
She's looking at the mirror like, yeah, she's just, there's no chair, correct?
There is no chair.
Okay, so she's just looking in the mirror and yeah, does anything, I'm asking this question, does she notice anything different as she's looking into the mirror? Like in
Yeah,
the reflection.
you do notice. As soon as you like focus on it, it's one of those things that like is very easily missed until you pay attention. There isn't one. There isn't a reflection. You should see the glowing purple of Elliot with the candle, with the candle, the black light. There's nothing.
I should see myself. Like,
You should
do I
see
see
you
myself?
should see yourself. There's nothing.
This is not a. This mirror's broken. She taps it.
Is it one of those mirrors that you can rotate around?
It would be if you were to. So I will say this: it would be. You'd have to pull the desk out to rotate it. And you know from looking behind it that the backing of the mirror is just mirror backing. There's no alternative mirror on the other side.
Blake asks Elliot to shut the light off real quick.
Yeah, Elliot does.
Wait, how was it done?
There's no change.
No change? All right, you can turn it back on. That didn't work.
Are there any drawers in this desk?
There is one central drawer.
She's gonna
Wait, and is it been open?
It is openable if you'd like to open it.
Oh.
It is not currently open.
As she opens it, Blake's gonna try to put his hand in the drawer and move it back in slightly and feel the top of the dresser to see if there's anything there.
Yeah, you kind of stick your hand in and kind of up. You feel the top of the you feel the underneath of the desktop.
Mm.
No buttons or.
Nope, nothing.
Nope.
What, anything inside?
Nope. It's an empty desk drawer. It smells like old wood.
Okay, this is really weird. This definitely isn't loop stuff. Didn't you guys say you found that you came across that stuff at the bowling alley?
Yeah, when everyone became a sleepwalker and went to some field near the loop.
Well, that's really weird. Oh yeah, you said that we did that. I don't remember.
Hey, Fish, do you happen to have a lighter? One of JoJo's lighters?
I don't know.
Jojo
Can
does
I
not
roll-
carry a lighter, I believe.
Oh.
John carries a lighter.
Yeah, all she
No.
has is her key fob.
For mainly Rossy, since he is the de facto note taker. As you are like, there's the blocks you see that have text on them. Each one is different as far as you can tell, just like matching the symbols. So I don't know if you want to spend all day writing all of them down or just one of them down. But for your own notepad, the symbol on the floor that's in the center of the floor is a bunch of weird shapes, right? It is a large outer circle, but upon closer inspection, the outer circle looks like some sort of like snake or serpent of some kind. Inside that circle is a large triangle. Inside the triangle is a square. Inside that square is a smaller circle. And then inside the circle is a like a bunch of like fucking, this is a dumb description. Think of how you would cut a pizza, right? Like a cross and then an X on top of each other, each ending in an arrow pointing out. That is the symbol on the middle of the floor.
So you're saying the big snake, a circle obviously is a snake eating its own tail.
That is correct.
That is a symbol, and this is player knowledge, but that's usually a symbol of the cycle where everything goes in a circle. So it's a symbol of the loop, I guess, would be the way you technically say it.
You mean like the actual loop?
Once
what you mean?
was, shall be.
Mike, the arrows pointing out from the center,
Yes.
would they line up with any particular points on the wall? Like any of the writing on the wall?
Yes. That's a great idea, Snow.
I love that idea.
I love that idea. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, think of it like a cardinal compass, right? You have the north, south, east,
Yeah.
west, and then the northwest, north, south, southwest, southeast. Yeah, that's a great idea. Sure, of course it has that. I just wanted a cool symbol. But yeah, absolutely. You can follow it. The obviously north and south are the door and the vanity. Yeah, that's a fucking great idea. East and west, and the various combinations, they do line up to, at least vaguely line up to an area where only one brick has a words on it, has some sort of symbology.
And Elliot will just maybe
Rossy,
touch those symbols that it's pointing to, and
Okay.
he'll find two near him that he can reach.
Okay, so you're gonna go try to press them, Rossy. What were you trying to do?
Yeah.
Rossy was actually thinking the same thing Elliot was thinking.
Great. So the two of you go to opposite sides of the room, and you try to press one and reach across it as far as you can, and try to tap the other one. Blake and Fish, what are you doing?
Blake is gonna go stand on the center of that big symbol on the floor and look directly into the mirror and tell Elliot to shut the light off real quick.
Yeah, Elliot will pull his hands in and flick off the light.
And I'm going to start staring into the mirror for about a good solid 2 minutes.
Okay, you start staring into the mirror. Fish, what are you doing? Are you still in front of the desk?
Am I still in front of the desk?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's where she's standing right now. She's watching what Elliot and Rossy are doing, and she's gonna go and she's gonna touch two more symbols. What are we doing?
Fish, roll me.
Experimenting.
Roll me investigate.
Okay. Nope.
Okay.
Can I re-roll?
At
Or
the cost of a
condition?
luck or at the cost of a condition?
I'll do a condition.
Okay. I would say scared or exhausted would be.
I'll do scared.
No
No.
successes. You can spend your remaining luck. Try again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will spend my remaining luck and re-roll again. Come on. No.
Terrible. Terrible day. Terrible day here.
Damn it.
Okay, you leave the front of the mirror and you head over towards another point on the wall. Is that what I'm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless I take a second condition
Okay.
and try re-rolling.
I mean, I'm not gonna stop you.
Oh.
What's your pride?
You're not the boss of me. Yeah, that wouldn't fit.
I mean, unless you're particularly saying that about Mike.
Good point. Yeah, 18 dice, no successes. Fuck. No.
Let's make it 24 dice, no successes.
Okay. You leave the front of the vanity and you head over to points on the wall under the instruction of Elliot where to put your hands or whatever, right? Sorry, you were also saying, what are we doing? Does anyone respond to Fish?
Experimenting.
Right. Okay. What are you doing?
That guy had to go somewhere.
Yeah. Unless they're here. We just can't see them.
That would be strange, wouldn't it? You place your hands collectively, the three of you place your hands on two spots. Each far enough away to like hit all the spots that need to get hit for all those remaining 6 locations on this compass. And Blake, you stare hopefully into this black mirror here. As you watch the black mirror, Blake, you begin to see like there's movement, but not like things walking past like you're looking out a window. It's as if your breathing is causing ripples, like as if you're blowing into water, like you're leaning down to like the pond and like blowing, and it like causes those ripples, right? And the more you stare at this mirror, the more you feel like tunnel visioned, to the point where like whatever's happening around you, you don't even notice, right? You're not really aware of what Fish, Rossy, and Elliot are doing. There might be a level of conversation between them that it's just kind of fallen to the wayside. It's you have been tunneled in to this mirror. Everything else has kind of fallen away, and everything around you just seems to be black. Everything sort of melts together as one like amorphous color, and you feel everything sort of slip away. You feel gravity slip away. You don't feel as tethered down as normal. You feel air pressure slip away. There's no like movement on your skin. There's nothing. You just feel one with the exact area around you. The temperature seems to match your body temperature, right? There's nothing rustles any hairs across your skin. You just feel like you are part of this void. And the whole while you are focusing on this mirror as it ripples and slowly pulsates as if drawing you closer.
Blake
rest of you-
starts.
Okay.
Blake starts to walk towards the mirror.
Great. That's the rest of you see Blake start to walk towards a mirror. Wordlessly, soundlessly, emotionless automaton slowly starts to walk towards the mirror.
Shit. And I assume he's not reacting to me going, Blake, what are you doing?
He is not reacting to anything.
Blake? Guys? Blake! And she's gonna go to him as soon as he starts walking forward and he's not reacting to them. She's gonna go to him.
Okay.
And grab his not like violently or anything like that, but she's gonna put her hand on his arm. Blake,
He continues walking forward. Doesn't
And she's
acknowledge your
gonna-
existence.
Elliot, turn the light on.
Elliot
Rossy
will
looks
flip-
and looks at what Blake's staring at. Does he? And looks at the mirror. Does he see the same thing, or
You
does
see
he
nothing.
start
You see
seeing
a-
things?
You see a black mirror. Looks completely normal, the same way it does before. Elliot, you go to click the button on the black light, and it peters out.
Elliot, the light.
There, I don't have it. It's not working.
Shit. And she's gonna move in front of Blake. Blake, stop! And she's gonna like put her hands on his shoulders and like, Blake.
Reminder: Blake is 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a force roll from you, Fish, and you need 2 successes.
Oh no. Nope. Oh, I was rolling so well before.
Rolling so hot. Yes, you put your hands against him, and
Raise
as
her feet.
it's
like,
yeah, it's almost like that like what is it, like the charging drill in football where you like hit the fucking the padded like fake man that you drive it backwards. It's like that, except reverse. You have your hands up and he is walking like the slow Michael Myers serial killer walk forward, and you are being pushed towards the mirror.
guys, something's wrong.
Elliot will look at Rossy. Smash the mirror.
Wait. I want to see what happens.
No. And
No.
Elliot will go over and smash the mirror.
Okay. You grab this mirror and you sort of so you can you can throw it forward into Fish, or you can lift it and like topple it on the side.
Actually, Elliot's iconic item is a Rubik's Cube, so he's going to grab that out of his pocket and just smash it into the mirror.
Ooh, interesting. Roll me a force with the +2 from your iconic item.
Go for it. Let's go.
This is going to suck.
What's that?
No,
Okay.
Elliot is a weak little boy.
Elliot, you grab your Rubik's Cube, and with as much force as your please be kind rewind fingers can carry, you smash this Rubik's Cube at the mirror. It's a glass mirror after all. It shatters like a spider,
Oh, it broke.
cracks into a million tiny pieces. Blake, you see a large ripple in the center. Not like the ripples you have been seeing, just slowly cascading over the top of this thing. You see it like you plopped a stone straight down into a lake, complete with that recursion of water where bloop and comes back out, right? So you see something large hit the center of this. You see like a large like bloop, like run through, and as the water creates that vacuum, it comes back out. And when it splashes back out, you see a black hand reaching out towards you.
We don't see that, I take it.
No.
No.
You see a
Blake
shattered
is
mirror.
going to try to now fight the urge to grab the hand.
Ooh.
Stop it.
Okay, you
Blake.
know what? Let's have a roll. Roll me. Okay. You tell me what you want to do. Are you trying to fight with your brain, as in this is a bad idea, don't do this? Like all the logic centers in your brain are saying no, or do you want to fight with your heart and saying like this is a bad feeling?
Everything in my head screaming no.
Okay. Roll me straight up mind.
Can I assist with this?
You cannot.
Okay.
This is happening in Blake's head.
Yeah.
As far as you can. Okay. I will give you. You can take a condition. You can spend luck.
I'm going to take the condition scared.
Okay. Take the condition scared and re-roll.
No.
Ooh,
Oh,
you can still
no.
you can still spend a luck if you have one.
No, I'm gonna save that.
Okay. Every synapse fires in your brain that you are in danger. This is trouble. But there's that little voice in the back of your head that says, what if? What if this is the solution? What if I do this and it's the missing link we need? What if this connects the dots? Elliot, Fish, Rossy, you see
Rossy
Blake's hand.
tests Fish's little pen light that he still has. Does it
Mhm.
work?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's battery powered. It like clicks on.
He tosses it to Fish. Fish, shine it in his eyes.
Can I?
Sure. What do I want to
Wake
do
up!
here? You know what I will here's what I will say. You do this. Blake, I will give you a free reroll. Oh boy. Okay.
man.
Okay.
Rossy's
So
seen
But I
enough.
want to know what happened.
So you see Blake is reaching out. His arm is coming up over your left side, Fish, and he's reaching towards something. And not like I'm reaching to grab something, right? He's very much reaching as if to like shake something's hand, like that. Very much kind of. And Rossy, you throw the pen light over. Fish, you let go of one of your hands. You click the pen light. You like grab his eye. You flashing it in his eyes. And Blake, you see this hand outstretched towards you. And as soon as you begin to like close your hand around it, you feel cold. Like you stuck your hand in ice, like in a snowbank. And then you see a bright flash of white. And your hand drops to your side, and you see Fish shining a flashlight in your eyes. And you are about a foot away from the mirror.
Blake, just in a panic, like falls backwards, like trying to get away from the mirror.
It worked. It worked. Yes.
And I look at my hand. Is there any damage to it?
Nope. But it's still as you touch your hand, it's still cold.
Mind telling us what you saw?
Let's get out of the room.
She's gonna turn and look at the mirror. Is it still cracked?
It's not.
Oh, it's not cracked?
It's not.
Can the mirror be picked up?
You can try. It's attached to the desk. You have to carry the whole desk out.
Blake's like, no, just forcibly trying to stop that. No, we need to go.
God, where's John when you need him? He'd probably have that screwdriver. We could take this mirror home.
Why do
Take
we
it to
want
the
to stay
hideout.
home?
You'd probably just burn it.
Didn't you
Blake's
just
not
snap?
waiting anymore. He's like walking
Well, if
out
we
of the
don't
room.
like it and we want to break it, maybe it'd be best to break it and hide it.
Are there any like loose rocks? Because the walls were rocks. Is there anything loose?
No, this room is completely smooth.
Okay.
All right.
It's like a.
Rossy's gonna start walking out.
It's
All
almost
right,
like a
guys,
polished,
clear
like
out. We got
like a polished marble floor, but the whole room is black.
Okay.
Actually, you know what it looks like? I feel like someone would get this reference. There's an episode in Doctor Who where they trap the silence inside of a big black thing. That's what the room looks like.
Yeah.
That's what the room
I
looks
get
like.
that.
G, I'll send you a picture. That's exactly what it looks like. Cool. So Rossy, you guys were leaving?
Rossy walks out, and as his word is like, "All right, guys, clear out. We're gonna shut this and take that bookshelf and block it off."
What happened to the people that were here? And she looks
Blake
at
is just going directly to the stairs,
Well,
not waiting a
based
single
on
second.
what Blake's probably going to tell us, I'm assuming they may have gone through that mirror.
but the mirror is too small. How are they gonna crawl through
Has
that?
anything in the loop made sense?
No.
And he stares at Fish when he says that.
And she's
You're the
gonna
one that.
what?
I was just going to say, you're the one that told me that they do teleportation.
Yeah. We just gonna leave this here then? She looks at Elliot because he was the one who tried smashing it.
I don't know what else to do. We don't know who's in there.
Fine. Rossy's gonna go over the desk and try to topple it over.
Okay, roll me force.
She's gonna help him.
Okay, roll me force.
One of my worst stats. Yay.
2. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 0. Whatever.
The two of you grab one side of the desk and give it a heave, and you tip it on its feet, and it topples over. You see it like hit at an angle, and you see as the part of the mirror that hits the ground again. Spider cracks.
And she's gonna kick it with her foot.
Wherever you kick it, another spider crack.
I'm sick and tired of
Rossy is
weird
going
stuff happening
to-
around here.
This is gonna probably get Rossy a cut in his hand, but he's going to try to pick a shard out of the mirror.
Mm. Okay. Take the injured condition. You have a shard of the mirror.
Careful, you cut yourself. Are you okay?
Rossy hikes up his journal and just packs it into one of the middle pages of his journal.
Okay.
I'll put some tape on that later.
She reaches into her pocket and she just pulls out like a band-aid. It's all crumpled.
It's fine. I've had worse.
Okay.
We should get you out of here. The vampire will smell that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Blake's gone. Let's go. And she's gonna head back up.
You all head back upstairs. As you get to the bingo floor, the bingo hall has cleared out, and you notice the lights are off.
Rossy checks his watch.
It's the whatever time it's supposed to be. Only like 30 minutes has passed. It's not like stopped or broken or anything. Excuse me.
I'm trying to figure out what time it actually is.
Oh, it's like the middle of the afternoon. The lights should not be off. You walk out of the bingo hall, the community hall rather, and into the library proper, and you notice that the librarian has on a rain slicker, all of her belongings, a large purse, and she is like doing like checkout procedure, like to close the library. And you can see out of the glass windows that there is a thunderstorm. It is downpour. You see flashes of lightning crashing. And she looks very confused at all of you, and she says, I thought everyone was gone. We're closing the library early. There's a storm. We're supposed to be losing power. I'm going home. I'm going home.
Right.
Can I borrow the
quickly, I see
phone?
my dad's umbrella in his desk.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss woman, librarian woman. Does she have a name tag?
She doesn't actually. They don't have name tags on librarians.
I don't know. Employees have name tags.
Miss Taylor.
Miss Taylor. Hi. That guy that you talked to earlier with the suit, the black suit. Who was that guy?
What guy?
The guy with a cane, and he was walking like, I got a cane, and he's got a black suit, black shirt, black tie.
One of our seniors?
No, he was young. He came in through the door. He came and he talked to you, and then he walked that way, and he went into the basement.
Are you sure he
Who
talked
is
to
he?
me?
Yeah, you're the only one here. Miss Taylor?
Regardless of what can I borrow your phone, ma'am?
Yeah, of course. And she picks up the phone and hands it to you. I don't know.
Rossy's calling his parents to come get him.
Okay. She looks to you, Fish, and says, I'm not sure what you're talking about, miss.
She gives a look to the others. Vampire abilities?
Yeah, he
Like,
glamored her to forget he was here.
Blake just shakes his head. He's like, "Hey, we'll talk later." And he opens the umbrella in the library and walks out the door.
I would not walk out in a thunderstorm with an umbrella if I were you.
Yeah, he'll probably be fine.
Weird stuff happens all the time. I'm sure you can walk with an umbrella in a thunderstorm.
We got struck by lightning already, remember?
Who did?
You did.
I
Elliot
did?
did. Elliot did.
Yeah,
The
when
composite
you
video.
burnt down our video source.
Yeah, when you.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
That was a specific set of circumstances, though.
Blake heads out into the storm. Rossy calls his parents for a ride, and collectively, the four kids here leave the library back to wherever their final destination is. The librarian locks up, and the camera passes through the glass door into the library, around the senior hall, and down the stairs, where we see the table is upright. There are no spider cracks in the glass. There is about a 3-inch jagged section of the glass that is no longer black. It is blood red. And that is where we end this episode of Glenbrook Chronicles Fish in a Barrel.
That doesn't make any
Oh, we
sense.
didn't put fish in a barrel. We failed.
Yeah, there's no barrels to put her in.
That's true. That's true. That title exists only to piss G off.
It's the metaphorical barrel
Yeah.
that is Fish's life.
Yeah, it's a metaphorical
Yeah.
fish and a metaphorical barrel.
I just imagine at the end Rossy going home and just covering that shard with clear tape
Yeah,
and
just-
making sure it's very tightly in there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it for us, you nerds. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you want more from us, click on that Patreon link down below. Join us over at the $5 tier, where you can get the after show that we're about to shoot, this after show, and all the other after shows for all of our other previous shows, like the last 3 years. Get some further insight into the characters, some further insight into the actual world, and further insight to what the players' thoughts about what the hell was going on, and sometimes some hot exclusives as we reveal some extra tidbits about this. But first, let's go around, do our outros so we can get the hell out of here and do that after show. We will start with Will. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
Hi, I'm the Red Oak Shield Virus, also known as Willie. I'm in the Discord and not really much anywhere else right now.
Alrighty. Norm, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I'm Normal Snow, and you can find me in the Patreon game and the one-shot games and Discord sometimes.
Perfect. G, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Hi, I'm G, your friendly neighborhood lightning invoker. Just like everyone else, you'll find me in the Discord all the time, on Twitter, Lightning Spazzle 9, and in the Patreon campaign.
Hell yeah. And last but not least, Matt, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I'm Matt or D, and you can find me on Mike's Discord and traveling around the United States for work.
Hell freaking yeah. That's it from us. If you like what you saw here, like I said, click on that Patreon link. Join us for the after show. Join us in the Discord. And in the comments down below on YouTube, let me know what you think is on the other side of that mirror. But for now, that's it from us. We'll see you guys next time for more of these shenanigans from all of us to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.